Hello everyone, my name is Rob Hofschmidt. I hope you're doing well. I work at Seika as a solution manager, and today I want to give you a presentation around low-code application development. But before we zoom into what low-code application development is, I want to give you a few examples when companies use application development in general. And so there are a few occasions in which we grab or look at application development. The first one is when we are obliged to implement technology. Typically, sometimes it can be out of a legal perspective. We need to implement something fast because, for example, COVID, we need a solution to follow up on some infections within our organization. Or a couple of years ago, GDPR was also a hot topic. We needed the right tools to easily capture the consent of potential customers. Also, sometimes we need applications to do our day-to-day work. Well, we cannot work without a specific financial system. We cannot work without a digital workplace solution. So those are fundamentally applications that we need. Next to that, sometimes we want to improve our existing way of working. So we want to improve our existing applications, or we want to make sure that we are more productive. We want to improve our existing processes. And then finally, some companies look at application development from an innovative perspective. They want to see how technology can leverage new offerings to their customers. And so these are three scenarios in which you can look at application development, why you would do that. Something that Seika did was a productivity survey, and we asked our customers whether, from an improvement perspective, how you can generate improvements within the organization. And there we saw that administration or administrative processes are things that are very time consuming. And so in digitalizing administrative processes, we can see that there are a lot of benefits to generate. Often we see that it's not really the way of working that is problematic, it's the fact that we do not have the right tools to support us with a specific process. And so digitalizing our administrative processes is key, and a lot of companies, they all agree that administration in general takes too much time. And nowadays, since everyone is working more and more from home, we also see that not everything that you need to do can be done from home. So there are specific workloads that cannot be done remotely because it's still not digitalized, and therefore 60% of employees now today cannot still fully work remotely. So we see, when we look at companies, a huge potential. And we can see that we can actually increase productivity for our customers when we digitalize specific processes. And we can also increase the overall satisfaction of our employees when we provide them with the right tools. And if we look a little bit at how to engage digitalization, in the past there were typically two options that you could use. A first option was we are going to build a solution with custom development. An alternative would be we're going to look at an existing business application to support us. And obviously, you would choose for custom development if you want to be sure that all your business requirements are built or are part of the application. But custom development often also comes with some risks. The budget needs to be monitored closely. The end result of your application might be different than what you imagined in the first place. And so we try to use, for example, agile methodologies to steer the end result as much as possible, but there is always a risk to be managed. So therefore, companies sometimes choose, instead of using custom development, use standard business applications. They look at an application, they say, look, if I can meet 90% or maybe a bit less, even 80% of my business requirements with a standard business application, then I avoid having the risk of having budget increases. So usually there was always a choice between custom development or taking something that is out of the box available. But with that second scenario, having an out-of-the-box solution, there is still those 20% of business requirements that are not met with your solution. And as a result, what we see in a lot of companies is that employees are quite creative and they just try to find their own solution to work digitalized. And so typically, we can relate to those solutions as being the Excel spreadsheets that you will see in your organizations. access databases that are created. And in this case, it's still okay because your business data is still within your company. But sometimes also employees can just purchase a specific license for some software in the cloud. And in that case, your business data is somewhere in a public cloud and you're not even aware of it. And that issue is something that we relate to as shadow IT. These are applications that live in the shadow of your organization as an IT management or as an IT manager. You're not always aware of those applications, but your business data is somewhere that is out of your control. And this can generate huge privacy risks as well. And so there is an alternative solution instead of custom development or a standard business application, and that's actually what low-code application development can do. If we look at the screen, what we're showing here, this is an example of what the Microsoft Power Platform can do for you. And again, you will see that the similar user interface as what you would see, for example, in PowerPoint, is something that is right now used to build your applications. Instead of coding, instead of writing code, you can actually build applications with a drag and drop editor. So as you are familiar today with PowerPoint and you make some visualizations by drag and dropping pictures onto a specific canvas, you can actually do the same thing for building applications. So building an application becomes much easier, and you could think about it as the newer version of your Access databases, but Microsoft has invested a lot of effort to make this more user-friendly, to make it even easier so you don't really have to think about structuring your data models or making the right relations. It's hugely improved. And at the same time, it's also fully cloud-based. So it's top-notch technology in the cloud, and it's there to speed up your application development. And doing so, we can generate more value for you as a company. We can implement apps for those requirements that are not met with your standard business applications, or for those requirements that you do not want to tackle with custom development because that would be too expensive. If you speed up specific processes within your organization, that generates value towards your customers. It also improves collaboration internally because you have digital ways of sharing information for specific things that potentially prior to your digitalization was done through paper processes. So you remove the paperwork and you have something that can be shared in the cloud, and you increase your efficiency. You improve your way of working, things are speeded up, and then your employees, they become more satisfied because things that take time nowadays are solved with easy tools. So that in a nutshell is what low-code development can do for you. I want to give you a few examples so that we also can make it tangible of what low-code application development can do for you. So here are a few examples. First, what you see here are mobile apps. So these are apps that we can develop that work on a mobile phone. And the first two examples are an easy ticket logging system and an expense registration tool. So imagine in the first case, you are working from home, you're working on your computer, but your computer breaks down. And you need to ask your IT support team to help you. Well, normally in a lot of organizations, this happens through logging a ticket, and you need to have access to a computer to log a ticket. And so then you have a problem. So you need to try and reach your IT department through the phone, but that's annoying. And so actually what we have here is an easy ticket logging app on your mobile phone. Whenever you have an issue with your computer, just register the ticket on your phone and your IT department will help you. A second example is an expense registration tool. You have some parking expenses or you've got some lunch expenses, and usually the ticket that you receive, your receipt, is something that you then need to digitalize. So you take a picture or you scan it, it goes to your Outlook email account, and then from there you need to store it somewhere on a local drive or in the cloud, and then you need to register in a financial system. As I mentioned, there are a lot of steps to actually just register an expense. And so for that, in this case, you've got an expense registration tool that we could build with low code that helps you as an employee to just take a picture of the receipt, and then everything is taken care of for you. As an idea for, like, if you would imagine how much time or how much effort would it cost me to implement these kind of applications, we're talking about 2-3 days of development. it is something that with custom development would actually be impossible. And these kind of tools, they don't always come as part of a standard business application. But there is a business need to have these kind of tools, right? And so with limited effort, we can provide specific cases or specific tools that actually improves your work life. Another example of a mobile application is when you need to call in sick. You receive in Belgium a receipt from the doctor that proves that you're sick. And then typically, again, we've got the same procedure of scanning the document, uploading it to your computer, making sure that everything is registered. Well, with an easy app, we can just take a picture of that sick leave note, and then everybody can be notified, and the administration is taken care of automatically. These were mobile apps, but obviously there are also tablet apps or computer apps. So this is an example of what a tablet app could look like. And in this case, it's an extension of what you could see also in Microsoft Teams. In Microsoft Teams, you can look up a specific colleague and you can see who he reports to. But in Microsoft Teams, it's not always possible to look for a specific function with a specific seniority. So extending search, it's something that a lot of companies need. How can I find someone with a specific skill in my organization with a specific seniority, and who does that person report to so that I can check his availability? This is something that we've built with Microsoft Power Apps, with low code, and again, the implementation effort was very limited. Other scenarios that we could do is, in this case, on the production floor, if you need to manage a specific machine. In this case, we had a customer who had instruction videos. Imagine on YouTube or maybe somewhere on SharePoint on a drive. The videos were existing. The problem was having access to the videos. And the only thing that we did was create a QR code so that as an employee, you just, with your app, scan the QR code, and at the same time or immediately, you receive your instructional video on how to handle a specific machine. And so you can see that what we do with low-code application development is not really building the whole training solution. It's just providing easier access to data that is already available. This case, it's a meeting capture app. So imagine that you need to visit some customers, or you have meetings that you do regularly, and you want to have an easy app to take your notes, to write down for you some action points to follow up. Maybe you want to make some drawings. Again, this is an application that within 2 days, 5 days tops of development, low-code application development, we can build for our customers. And then there are also applications that are fully embedded within your digital workspace. So in this case, we've got a contract follow-up application. And so from a legal perspective, imagine that you're a legal person or some sort of a lawyer, and you need to follow up on where you are in the setting up of a contract. And when you set up a contract, there is communication that goes back and forward with your customers. So you have phone calls that you need to register, emails that you need to register, you generate documents, you need to collaborate internally and externally. This is fully supported by the Microsoft Power Apps platform. And then the last example of apps that we can build, we've got mobile apps, we've got tablet apps, we've had a desktop app as an example, and as an extension of your digital workplace. And this is a portal solution. So imagine that you've got company data that you would like to present to your external customers, and you want to give them information about what happens internally in your organization. In this case, providing information of where you are with the processing of a specific order. This is what you can do with portal solutions. And again, low-code application development, no coding needs to be done to provide these kind of solutions towards your customers. And then a last topic that we can also do with low-code is we've seen a lot of applications so far in the examples that I've shown, and those are actually tangible applications that you can see and visualize. We can actually also streamline your processes. So we can digitalize your way of working, and this can happen by connecting two applications with each other. So if in one application specific information is stored and that needs to generate a notification in another application, for example, this is also something that we can do with low code. And we can do it whenever we have two systems that have specific services to connect with each other, or we could use what we call here robotic process automation. So in this example, Imagine that you've got a very old financial system where you need to register your invoices in, and you receive your invoices via email. What we can do with the Microsoft Power Platform today already is scan through your mailbox, pick up an invoice that you've received, interpret the invoice, and then take the information that was actually in a document, digitalize it, and input it through the user interface of your old application. So you don't need to make any changes to your existing financial application. We just go through that application. And technically that happens through what we call a step recorder. So we mimic the way you work within your old system. You say you click you go to your application, you go to invoices, you click on register a new invoice, and everything that you do manually is something that you then can record, and then that's something that you can replicate automatically. So you can see there's huge potential where we can digitalize specific things within your organization with little or limited effort. So to do a small recap, right? There is a business need to digitalize your way of working out of compliancy, maybe to optimize your existing processes, maybe to just digitalize things, and maybe to innovate. Typically, custom development can generate quite some risks. So you would prefer to choose for a standard business application, but your standard business application does not always meet your business requirements. So as a result, shadow IT is generated. And so, there are always delaying factors, because you do not really make a choice whether you go for custom development or a business application at the same time. Maybe you don't have the available resources within your organization. Maybe you don't have the budget right now to implement everything. Maybe you don't have the technical resources. Maybe you don't have the time. So these are reasons why often digitalization is put on hold. But low code, as I explained earlier, can actually provide you a more lightweight or low barrier approach in application development. And so, keeping that in mind, we see at Cegica two potential audiences that can use low code as an application development platform. The first one is rapid application development. Cegica, for example, we are IT experts, we are application development experts. We use the Power Platform to rapidly build applications for our customers. We have customers that come to us and they say, I've got a specific scenario that I would like to build. Is this something that you could do? And if you really want to build a solution fast, we want to prototype something quite fast and deliver something, we can actually use low code for that. But at the same time, since low code application development is accessible and you don't always need to have an IT background or a coding background, we see also that citizen development is something that is on the rise. And citizen development means that business people start to use technology to work with applications. And we look at it in the following way. If we look at citizen development, we think that by providing your business people with the right tools, they can start and experiment with technology. They can prototype specific ideas that they already have in mind, and then see if they can actually work out a specific solution to help them. And then obviously they sometimes need still support from pro development teams or from an IT productivity team to fill some gaps that they cannot reach with low code, or to maybe scale the solution and run the solution and support it in the organization. But there is by definition a possibility to collaborate with your citizen developers. And something that at Cegica we see as a big challenge is it's not because we would teach companies to build applications that application development is child's play. There are risks when you have, not necessarily with the build, but as we see in our experience, applications that are not well scoped, or applications that are built on top of the wrong platform, or that are not integrated well, or that are not in line with your strategy. Those are risks that you could face whenever you do not support your citizen developers. And this is something that we want to do as Cegica. We want to support businesses to start using citizen development, but we want to support them not only with building applications, we want to actually support them with the whole release pipeline of their solutions. We want to help them to plan the release of solutions. We want to help them with the building of solutions, with releasing solutions, with taking them into operations, so making sure that people are adopting the solutions and using the solutions, and then also supporting those people whenever they have some issues. So obviously there is a lot of learning to do, and at Serica, for that, we have an adoption program. Our specialists are people that are very experienced in application development and actually helping people or businesses going through that whole release cycle. Those people will be provided to you as a team of which you can learn. And we will coach you in doing application development. So typically what we try to do together with our partners is to have a couple of initiatives that we could develop with low code and build those applications together. And as we build those applications, and as our customers can learn from Serica how to plan these projects, how to build those solutions, how to release them successfully, how to make sure that they are taken into operation successfully, and what are challenges with regards to support. As the maturity of our customers grow, our team is actually tapered off. And in the end, what we actually want to do is set up a center of excellence together with our customer, so that they can have an operational organism at 3 layers: strategic, tactical, and operational. And Serica will there be as your trusted partner to support you on whatever layer. And the way we see it is we want to set up together with that adoption program your center of excellence, making sure that you've got a strategic layer where your IT management has a view of all the initiatives that are being taken with low code. That you also have a tactical layer where we support especially project management and also the whole release cycle through development and DevOps, so development and operations, but also security, very important. And that we also, on an operational level, help your citizen developers in building the solutions, that we can also train them, inspire them, and so on. And so on the 3 layers that we see in that center of excellence, Serica has specific services to help you. Empowerment, where we will inspire you and train you, where we will guide you. Advisory, to help you and streamline your build cycles and your releases. And performance, to make sure that your solutions are built in a successful way, but also whenever taking into operations that you have the right support. So in a nutshell, I hope I gave you some idea about what low-code application development can do, what it can mean for you as an organization. You can build applications much faster and generate value, but you could potentially also be triggered right now to start building applications yourself. And in so, I hope I've explained right now that Serica potentially is a partner to also support you to go through that low-code adoption. If you want some more information, make sure to follow us on the different social channels on LinkedIn and YouTube. And if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Have a very nice day. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye.